NVIDIA just announced a laptop that can run a full AI model, the same size as what powers ChatGPT, completely offline. No internet, no subscription, no cloud. The price starts at roughly $3,000. And whether that's the most exciting thing you've heard this year or a complete non-issue for your life depends entirely on one question. What do you actually do with AI? Let's start with the actual thing. NVIDIA makes the graphics chips inside most gaming computers, but they also make the chips that power ChatGPT, Gemini, and basically every AI service you've ever used. Those run on enormous racks of NVIDIA hardware sitting in data centers the size of football fields. That world and your laptop have always been completely separate. Until now. At a tech conference in Taiwan called Computex, NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang announced something called RTX Spark. It's a new chip, they call it a super chip, that pairs a fast processor with a powerful graphics unit and, critically, 128 gigabytes of shared memory. If those numbers don't mean anything to you yet, don't worry. The number that matters is this: 128 gigabytes is enough to hold a 120 billion parameter AI model running entirely on the machine in your bag. A parameter is basically a unit of knowledge baked into an AI. Think of it like the number of connections in a brain. GPT-4, the model that made ChatGPT famous, is rumored to run somewhere in that ballpark. So NVIDIA is saying, the thing that normally requires a server farm? You can now carry it to a coffee shop. Here's the twist that makes this extra strange. This chip is not new silicon invented for laptops. It's the exact same chip that NVIDIA already sells in a small desktop computer called DGX Spark, which itself started as a project called Project Digits. That desktop costs between $3,000 and $4,000 and runs a version of Linux. What RTX Spark does is take that same chip, run Windows on it, and hand it to Dell, HP, Lenovo, ASUS, MSI, and Microsoft to build into laptops and desktops shipping this fall. Over 30 laptop designs and 10 desktop designs are already confirmed. So this isn't vaporware. It's not a prototype. It's proven hardware getting a new outfit and a new audience. The question is whether that audience is you. Here's the thing about 128 gigabytes of memory on a laptop. It's genuinely unprecedented, and it solves a very specific, very real problem. Right now, if you want to run a large AI model yourself, not through a website, but actually on hardware you control, you need either a desktop computer with multiple expensive graphics cards, or you pay a cloud company by the hour. Both options have friction. The multi-GPU desktop is expensive, loud, and stationary. The cloud option means your data leaves your machine, which matters enormously if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a researcher, anyone working with information that can't go to a third-party server. RTX Spark collapses both problems. The memory is fast enough that even a 120 billion parameter model with up to 1 million tokens of context, which is roughly 750,000 words of conversation the model can hold in mind at once, can run at useful speeds on a machine you can close and carry. That's not a marketing trick. That's a real capability shift. But here's the number that doesn't change everything. $2,900. That's the reported price floor. The cheapest these machines can realistically be built for, because 128 gigabytes of fast, unified memory is expensive, and memory prices have been going up, not down. That's before any retailer markup. And that floor is for the entry-level configuration. The headline spec of 120 billion parameters assumes you're buying the fully loaded version. So the chip is real and the capability is real, but the price puts it firmly in the category of professional tools. not consumer electronics. For context, a MacBook Pro with the M4 Pro chip, which is already genuinely powerful for most AI work, starts around $2,000. You're paying a significant premium for that extra local AI muscle. The honest framing is this. RTX Spark is a workstation that happens to be portable. It is not a better everyday laptop. It's a different category of machine for a different category of need. Let me give you 3 portraits of people, and you can place yourself in one of them. Person 1. You're a software developer, a researcher, or a data professional. And part of your job involves working with sensitive data, patient records, legal documents, proprietary company information. You've been using cloud AI tools, but you know, legally or contractually, that the data isn't supposed to leave your organization's control. You've been either avoiding AI assistance entirely or jumping through compliance hoops every time you use it. For you, a laptop that runs a powerful model locally, with no data ever touching a server you don't own, is not a luxury. It's a solution to a real problem you have today. Person 2. You're building AI applications. You write code. You're experimenting with AI agents. You want to test how a large model behaves without paying API fees every time you run a query. Right now, you either pay per call to OpenAI or Anthropic, or you run a smaller model locally that doesn't perform as well. RTX Spark gives you a local instance of a genuinely competitive model for development and testing. The upfront cost is steep, but if your API bills are already significant, the math might work out. Person 3. You use ChatGPT a few times a week. You think AI is interesting. You heard this laptop can run AI offline, and that sounds cool. You are the person this machine is not for. Not because it won't work for you, it will, but because you'd be paying $3,000 for a feature you could get for $20 a month from any AI subscription. The offline capability only matters if being online is the problem. NVIDIA's marketing will try to blur this line. The keynote used words like agentic AI OS, meaning Windows becomes a system where AI agents run tasks for you autonomously, like a very smart assistant that can do things on your computer without you clicking anything. That future sounds compelling. But that software mostly doesn't exist yet. The chip ships this fall. The agentic OS vision is somewhere on the roadmap, not on the box. There's a detail buried in the specs that deserves more attention than it's getting, and it's the thing most likely to cause buyer's remorse for early adopters. This is a Windows laptop running on an ARM chip. ARM is the processor architecture that Apple switched to with the M1 chip back in 2020. And even Apple, with all its software control and a 2-year head start, spent the better part of a year dealing with apps that didn't work right or needed to run in compatibility mode. Microsoft has been trying to make Windows on ARM work for years, and while it's gotten meaningfully better, it is still not the same as buying a regular Windows laptop with an Intel or AMD chip inside. What that means practically: some software will run perfectly. Some will run in emulation, which is like translating a document on the fly. Technically it works, but it's slower. And some specialized tools, particularly older professional software with deep hardware dependencies, may not run at all at launch. NVIDIA's GPU drivers are excellent, and that piece should be solid. But if you have a specific stack of tools you depend on, niche engineering software, specialized audio or video applications, legacy enterprise systems, you need to verify ARM compatibility before you spend $3,000. The other thing worth flagging, up to, is doing real work in the spec sheet. Up to 20 processor cores, up to 144 graphics cores, up to 128 gigabytes of memory. Entry-level configurations will have less of all three, and the 120 billion parameter, headline, is only achievable on a fully maxed out machine. Expect a range of configurations at a range of prices, and expect the impressive demo numbers to require the expensive version. None of this makes RTX Spark a bad product. It makes it a first-generation product in a new category, which means it has first-generation caveats. The people who buy it day one will be the people for whom the use case is so clear that the rough edges are worth it. Pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture, because RTX Spark is interesting beyond its spec sheet. For the last few years, the AI revolution has been almost entirely cloud-based. You use a website or an app. Your words travel to a server somewhere, the server runs a massive model, and the answer comes back. That model never touches your device. The company that runs the server knows what you asked. You pay a subscription, or you see ads, or both. Sound familiar? It should. It's the same arc the internet ran through from 1995 to 2010, just compressed into about 3 years. RTX Spark is the first credible sign that AI might follow a different arc, one where capable models move closer to the device, eventually all the way onto it. Not because the cloud goes away, but because local and cloud start to coexist the way local storage and cloud storage coexist now. You have files on your laptop and files in Google Drive. You might eventually have a small, capable model on your laptop and access to a giant cloud model for the heavy stuff. That shift matters to everyone, not just developers. It's the difference between an AI that works on a plane, works in a hospital where data can't leave the building, works when the server is overloaded. The privacy and reliability arguments for local AI are strong and only get stronger as the models get smaller and more efficient. RTX Spark isn't the version of that future most people will buy. It's the version that proves it's possible. So here's what I'd actually recommend you do right now. First, if you're curious but not building anything, wait. The software needs to catch up to the hardware, and prices will come down as competitors respond. Second, if you work with sensitive data professionally and AI could help your job, bring this to your IT department now. This is a real solution to the compliance problem, and organizations move slowly. Third, if you're a developer already paying meaningful API bills every month, run the math. $3,000 upfront versus your current monthly spend. It might pencil out faster than you think. The laptop that runs AI without the internet is real. Whether it's the laptop for you depends on what problem you're actually trying to solve. If this helped you cut through the hype on a genuinely confusing announcement, that's exactly what this channel is for. Taking the stuff builders are excited about and translating it into plain language for everyone else. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment telling me whether you think $3,000 for local AI is visionary or just expensive. I read them all.